Hey guys, and welcome to another Schematics talk show. This time we are talking about the upcoming update 1.3. We just watched the second announcement stream, so we got pretty new impressions of what is coming in the update. Before we start talking about it, let's introduce ourselves and our guest for this episode, CommanderRealwar. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
CommanderRealwar, can you introduce yourself real quick for people who don't know who you are?
CAFK.
I have no idea.
Oops. I forgot to
Well done.
That was a good
I'm sorry. I'm CommanderRealwar. I make coasters for the workshop. And you might remember me from the second episode of Schematics team.
Okay, so let's introduce ourselves. I'm AdfoTV. I'm, as always, the host of the show. You can find my stuff on YouTube and Twitter. And next one is Blind.
Hi, I'm Blind. I stream management games on twitch.tv/BlindIRL.
And I'm Beer, Freethebear, whatever, and I do YouTube.
Cool. So, as I said earlier, we just watched the second live stream. Maybe we start with an overall impression, what you think about the update.
A lot of stuff I don't care about, plus fireworks and a cool camera.
Okay.
I mean, I'm probably the only one today with that, but I really like the custom scenario editor.
Oh yeah, me too. Sort of. But I'll get into that later.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for that too.
When I say fireworks, I also like include the new sequence manager and everything in there.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
All that stuff's neat. It's gonna be a learning curve, but it'll be fun.
I'm kind of excited for the billboards, to be honest. Well, that's what I'm most excited about. So let's get into the topics. We have new path texture.
Wait, what?
Yeah. We got a new Thermic styled path texture, which is a little bit rougher than the concrete one and look darker.
I like it. It's pretty
It looks
nice.
fine. I mean, it's another path.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just another path, but I'm not a fan of the light concrete path texture, and I'm not really a fan of the dark, shiny one as well.
I hate the dark shiny one.
It's supposed to be like a sci-fi one.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like wet pavement, the pathway?
It will always rain in the future.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all seen enough sci-fi films to know that.
To the first real topic, new scenarios, guys. What do you think?
Yeah.
There are new scenarios. They need to add those every time they put out an update.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of depressed about the sci-fi one because I was planning on doing something like that with giant hangers in the side of cliffs.
Well, that sucks for you personally, TBH, but...
I thought that one was interesting.
I mean, you guys know me, and I'm not a fan of scenarios or the career mode in general, but looking at casual players out there, I kind of like that they added 3 new scenarios. And I'm trying to not self-promote my stuff.
This is your channel.
It's our channel. But anyways, there's a scenario where members of the Plancosa community built stuff for the parks. So we kind of asked last interview with Ed and Bo if that is a thing they will look into, and they
did, which is cool.
It's a pretty cool interaction. I don't know if they picked the right people for that, like AdfoTV.
I don't know. I think the park turned out all right. Honestly, like
yeah, I love the buildings. They're really nice.
All jokes aside, it's pretty cool.
Considering, like, you know, they're limited to keeping the thing running well. You can't just like stack all the details in, and you can't do anything super crazy with it. I think it looks lovely. Like, it's a nice little park, and it's a nice little nod to the community, if nothing else. And the salt in the chat when they announced it, all the people who realized that they missed out on that was glorious.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should call out the people who worked on this park. It's Silverette, of course, RudiRennkamel, myself, Hexa 0, or is it Hexa O? I'm
Just Hexer.
so confused by his name, and Schematics. So I kind of like that they didn't just pick the biggest and most famous people for that.
There was a couple smaller names in there, and it looks lovely, as I said. I want to know who built what.
I mean, I would have liked to see the actual community people do sort of to collaborate actually together and talk about the layout and what they want to do, and then they talk with the Frontier people and talk about that, because how I hear it now, it was you guys put up some buildings and they just slapped it together.
Basically it was like that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the point that they want to keep you guys back to not do too much or keep open spaces or find good transitions between it, but I think you guys would have done a good job on it. And I mean, they always talk about how they actually want to do you guys get it in together and collab and stuff, but this was not really a collaboration. However, I think it would have been a good opportunity to do one.
They did it, and that's kind of cool. All the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Yeah, definitely.
And I'd like to see an actual scenario editor, but that's probably gonna be a while off.
Dream on, dream on, dream. Anyways, one scenario I would say that I'd say my favorite out of the new scenarios that isn't the one that you guys made, obviously, because that one's just perfect in every single way, shape, and form, because the community made it. But no, Miss Sally's Diner, I think, is a kind of a cute little scenario. I like that. Just like this, here's a freeway and a little diner and some other.
It's pretty refreshing.
The road was nice. It's nice that they just like straight up stole Adfo's road making technique and just like we're like, yeah, we need a road texture, but screw it. I don't know. I like that.
And then they added the little cars. That was pretty cute too.
I kind of want to skip the next one and save it for later. But insert the scenario editor. I was sure I wrote it down somewhere in our doc, but I can't find it. So there is a new scenario editor.
Can we not call it a scenario editor? Because it really isn't that. It's a map. No, not a map editor. Not even an editor. It's a
custom biome. Essentially,
you can select what textures you want on what background. I'm going to put forward my issue with this. Number 2, I still hate the backgrounds. There's only one that I like, and that's the deciduous one. I've said this before, I want an ocean. I want one floating in space. And I want one that's just a city. And we don't have that. And that makes me sad.
Yeah, I want those too.
Something that looks lived in. The biggest problem I have with Planet Coaster is the fact that guests just warp in out of nowhere, and it's just this dead post-apocalyptic wasteland. I want something that feels lived in, at least farmland around if it's in the country, or a house. It feels empty, and I don't like that.
Okay, so apart from the background, I like the option that we can choose whatever texture we want now, because I always found them to be limiting. Or I want a combination out of different ones, and I can do that now. And I really like that. Thank you, NDC, for that. And yeah.
Another thing I would like to put in here is it was kind of funny because for me personally it's kind of a big thing, but they treated it like some minor thing, which is kind of surprising. They introduced a feature today that, if you paint your terrain in a way that isn't the standard texture, and you gonna manipulate the terrain, it switched back on the standard texture. And they introduced a feature today that you can select in which terrain paint the manipulation will happen. I hope I did an okay job in describing it. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, I think it's a big thing.
I think it's nifty.
Yeah, that's my same thought. I don't think it's a big thing, but it was kind of annoying, and I'm glad that they included this in the update.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just a nice addition. Not much else to say there, I don't think.
Okay. I still want to skip on the big thing there. So let's get back to another feature that that was introduced just on the fly. Display cameras, maybe Blind could say something about it, because I wasn't paying that much attention when they introduced it, to be honest.
So essentially, they've added in a cyclable camera. It's connected to. I'm not sure exactly what it's connected to. Because again, I wasn't paying it. I was kind of zoned out at that point because Mr. Sam was just making fireworks. But there's a button that puts you into a camera mode, which gives you a little camera overlay. You can pan the camera around. You can zoom in, zoom out, and it looks like it changes the FOV a little bit. And you can place the cameras in spots, like lock it anywhere, so you can fly around. Looks almost like a flying Tegid kind of. And then once you've placed it, it's locked, and then you can place more. And then you have a little drop-down menu, and you could cycle between them and get these nice little stationary cameras that are pre-placed. And then you can move them around and zoom in and zoom out from those camera positions, but the camera doesn't move.
I didn't see the footage of it. Do they have like that weird overlay that the security cameras have?
There's like a positioning square when you're scrolling around, but once you're done scrolling around and you've locked it, it goes away.
So it's 0 HUD then.
Yeah, once you've placed it, yes. There's a little drop down thing when you wiggle the mouse, but that fades out.
Okay, so next one, new set Stars and Stripes, or in other words, a weird look on how we think America is.
America!
I mean,
balloons are cool.
Can you please insert the face of the weird statue right here?
Yeah, I already downloaded it.
I don't know. I think it's a nice little jab. I think it's fun, and those balloons are going to be nice. Just like the balloon archways.
Yeah, the balloons are really cool.
Yeah, I just hope that the big inflatables, that there's more of them coming.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to see a giant gulpy inflatable.
Yeah. I'd like something more
Generic?
Generic.
That's actually a really good idea.
It'd be also awesome if they included smaller ones, so people that are making fake midway stalls can have, these inflatables as prizes that you can win.
Good point.
Oh yeah.
Also, I want an entertainer of that dude.
To be honest, it's funny because I think he's creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah, totally. But I want him as an entertainer.
I mean, he's more creepy than Cosmic Cow. But it's not only the big inflatables, it's new American flags that they showed off last stream, and a bunting, and confetti cannons.
I like the bunting, it's really nice. I'm going to be using that a lot.
I like the flags, I like the more generic stuff from this set.
Yeah, speaking of generic stuff, I really love the new metal scaffolding pieces.
Agree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
I kind of think there's more.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's more too.
Also, they released some smaller scenery pieces like the piano and stuff,
yeah.
right? That was really cool. Like, I could see that being pretty good use for dark rides and stuff.
Okay, I think we can start with the first big topic named Billboards. To wrap it up real quick, there are 7 different sizes on Billboards. There are TVs that comes with 1, 2, and 4 meters, video walls with 4, 8, 16, and 32 meters. They can play videos and pictures. Pictures, it's JPEGs, TIFF, and PNGs, which is kind of interesting. I think we should talk about alpha channels when it comes to PNGs later on. Videos, web media format only. They are triggable, will not have audio now, but that will get fixed. Will support local files, so no uploading to the workshop, no maximum length on videos.
I can't contain my desire to make an Akira Park. I'm just saying.
I'm wondering what's the scale of the TVs? Like, do we have only 1x1, 2x1? What are they going for there?
Really small up to Jumbotron. Like, what do you mean by scales?
I mean, like...
Aspect ratio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's 16:9.
Yeah, it looks 16:9.
I mean, yeah, but they said they have walls, so it must be 4x4. And I'm just wondering if we gonna get like half walls and stuff.
I'm pretty sure the walls, so the 1 to 4, 4 and so on meters is the horizontal line, not the vertical.
And by the way, you can place the video walls however you want. So they're not actually walls; they're just a piece.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
That's
I
really
agree.
good.
I think personally, Billboards will be a game changer.
I mean, I want to check them in game at first if they really executed them properly. Also, one question: did they answer about how they act during the night? Like, do they emit light or are they just normal?
They showed off video playing walls and they are illuminated. I'm not sure about the pictures, if they are illuminated as well.
All right.
I mean, I guess you are asking because using them as walls, right?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it even the devs saying that we could use them as custom wall textures?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering there. I mean, I would probably also appreciate an option for that to turn it off and on, because it could be great for both users.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Would look strange if you have, or if you use them as walls and they are all illuminated by night. So we need to check that. But in general, I really like the idea to have custom billboards in different sizes, and they have no borders as far as I could tell from the stream.
I thought some of them had borders, but
Yeah.
not all.
Really light one, like a thin one.
About alpha textures, wondering if we can use those in our billboards and if it will actually cause the screen to be see-through.
Okay, so looking at the display that it's when it's turned off, you still have something in vision. I believe it's not gonna be visible. Then again, I feel like they just gonna replace the texture with it, and it could be unintentional and cause
And I hope it works like that, because that's really cool.
I don't know if it's gonna work out, but it would be really cool.
I think the alpha texture will basically change to black.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a really cool way to make custom windows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, Frontier, you could just give us that option. If we want to get performance issues, we do it ourselves.
Like we already do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the rights.
I'll just sit back on this one. I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
Let's start with the flat rights before we come to the coasters and the big rent, and let's end the show with fireworks. So there are 3 new flat rights that have been introduced. So the Iron Claw, which is basically KMG Afterburner, if I'm correct.
Oh God, I don't really know.
I thought the Iron Claw was a Huss Revolution 32 or whatever.
That's what I feel as well, but I really have no idea.
One of them, basically. What do you guys think about that? I mean, it's pretty much funfair, right? But
is it? Honestly, I think that's like the only one that's not funfair, and that's my favorite one of the update. Like, I feel like that has no theming, still looks realistic, still looks like almost in scale, and has like doesn't look like it's straight up from a funfair, doesn't look ghettoish, and I don't know, I like it.
No comment.
I was just about to say that I like that's generic and there aren't 5 million lights slapped onto it.
Yeah, we can slap those lights on ourselves.
Yeah, especially with the new flat ride sequencer.
Spoiling the topic. Okay. The second ride is the Skywatcher, which is an observation platform with rotating cabin.
Okay, so this ride I didn't like. I don't know if they I don't know if the issue was they didn't color it or if it actually looks like it has no textures on it, but it was like stark white. So yeah, I don't know. There's something about it.
It looks like
it looks
plastic.
weird. It looked unfinished almost.
I think it was just because it didn't have any colors to it, in the when you plop it down to begin
Didn't
with.
they also just state it as this one is a perfect ride for your modern park? I feel like they pretty much just got inspired by Sylph's park he made with the observation tower.
yeah.
And then they were like, oh yeah, we need one of those, and built one. I feel like it looks pretty neat. It's probably not something for every park. It's all right. I don't know if I catched it up wrong, but I heard it's not changeable in height.
No, it isn't.
It is not, but they did state that changing the heights of tower rides is something that they want to do.
Okay.
Sometime.
Yeah, sometime. Okay.
One day.
Yeah.
Because that's like a huge bummer.
I'm hoping sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all agree here.
Also interesting to see so many windows on it while they are supposed to have so many performance issues.
Is it unfair of me to say that I just want a traditional hydraulic powered drop tower?
Without theming and no lights?
I'll give you $5 for that, Frontier. Can you just charge me for that? That'd be great.
And the third flat ride is the Blackout, which is, if I'm correct, a Huss Ranger.
I think it looks a little cheesy, but that's okay to me.
I mean, it's kind of just a reskin of rides that we already had, more or less, aside from that this one inverts. Quite frankly, I think that there's other flat rides out there that they could be making. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of that one.
By the description they gave us earlier, I was hoping for Huss Ranger.
Yeah.
And not that strange space shuttle thing.
Yeah, I was hoping for that too when they first announced it.
Because they were talking about the classic, and for me the Ranger is a classic space shuttle that basically inverts in a loop all the time. Isn't really a classic, sorry, but...
And that's a lot of theming again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the sci-fi themed flat rides like the Enterprise. I'm kind of disappointed by that. I was hoping it'd be generic.
I mean, the problem with the sci-fi theme is that sci-fi is such a big and wide topic that you can do so much, and something like a spaceship is so down to the ground compared to other things that people tend to make with sci-fi stuff, in my opinion, that it's almost like, okay, I made this super crazy alien base, and now I just got a spaceship for it.
I mean, sci-fi is everything from, like, cyberpunk to, like, Warhammer to Star Wars, to Star Trek. Like, it's just... I don't know. I genuinely just wish it was more generic theme, and I think we kind of all agree on that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Also, I have some Kerbal friends who... don't like it. Man, it's the wrong color. But I know you can recolor it, but like still, I mean,
So the last two topics are the real interesting topics, I think. Coasters. Get yourself a drink and popcorn. Yeah.
Grab your butts, let's go.
And here comes the rent. I'm just putting out the names and what it kinda is, and please rant over it. So the first one is the Viper 1, which is an INTAMIN Impulse.
I mean, is there anyone here that doesn't know that much about the rides? So we could just first get a rather casual opinion on it.
Raise his hand.
What do you think about the Viper?
Which one was that one? Honestly, like the names are all so generic.
The Viper is sort of the boomerang with the two towers, and you get launched multiple times.
Oh, it's that one. Okay. I don't like that the supports are super big and bulky.
They are pretty big and bulky in real life.
They were in our CT2, so that makes me happy. And they seem very limited. Like, I almost feel like they should be a placeable flat ride if they're not gonna, like, let us do more with them. So
good that you made the point, because if you haven't, I would make the point. Basically, all you can do with it is slap down the station, and adjust the length of the launch panel after the station, and put down the pre-built towers at the end and the other end of the ride. So I kind of...
You can also build straight track, I believe.
Yeah, but what's the point?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. For me, it's like Blind said, it's so freaking limited.
Yeah, I'm extremely disappointed. Basically, you can only make the Wicked Twister model and the one vertical velocity model. You can't even make the vertical velocity model that's at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, because you can't even, with the straight section track, you can't even make it and do a twist. So
another thing is, before you go full rent mode, is you can't even adjust the height of the towers.
yeah.
You have 66 meters. That's it. Done.
Okay, I'm not gonna rant too much on it, but
Because we could do this forever, right, Bill?
I mean, so as the rather casual side already said, it's limited, and if that's already limited for casual players, that's a huge issue in this game, in my opinion. And I would highly reconsider adding such a type then, or at least this concept, because even for the advanced players, like there's a similar type to this INTAMIN invert, which can do rather custom layouts in a full circuit, and that's rather the interesting point on it, in my opinion. And we can't do that either, so it's limiting for every side on this type, and it's sort of a bummer.
I mean, what I was trying to say is, and I think Blind agrees on that point, you could have made it a flat ride.
Yeah.
Basically. Just slap it down, finished.
Yeah.
Because you can't do shit.
That's my issue.
Sorry,
Pretty much.
my language. So let's go to the next one. The power-up, which is basically... why don't you introduce it, Bear? You know what kind of coaster I mean.
Okay, so it's actually a Maurer Skyloop, or if you want to pronounce it German, Maurer. Okay, so they sort of introduced two types of it, which is, for one's the Skyloop, and one is just, I don't even know the actual name of it, but you can actually do a circuit behind the very signature element that the coaster's actually doing. Yeah, looking at it, like they showed it riding, it had some huge bumps. I don't know why. And the pre-given element, which is probably just one pre-built element again, was actually not that accurate either.
I at least hope they are... I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a real big fan of the coaster. I mean, the coaster itself, yes, but how it's implemented into the game. I at least hope that it's like the old boomerang that was introduced in the last update, that we have at least 3 track pieces, like the beginning of the lift, the middle piece, and the end piece, so you can at least adjust the height.
Yeah.
Also worth mentioning is you don't need to place this element, you can just straight up do a launch coaster with it.
Yeah, that really surprised me. I was just expecting it to be like flat ride coaster, kind of like the Viper 1, but I'm kind of happy that they let us make our own launch coasters with it too.
Yeah, exactly. I would have liked to see that with the Viper 1. And, you know, when you just turn it into a launch coaster, it's basically a Maurer X-Car launch coaster. And, I mean, theoretically, from the basic looks to a casual, we already have that type with the Premier launch coaster. And, I mean, I guess I should rather do this at the end, but I'm just going to say it. I would have liked to see something like a new gen INTAMIN launched or a MACK launched in the game.
MACK launched, yeah. I've been, or even a new gen VEKOMA launched, I've been wanting.
Yeah, like that's one type that can be so universally used, and the INTAMIN launch that was in ASTI 3 was one of the most used types ever. Because it's just, you can do so many recreations with it, you can do so much with it. I don't know why they still don't add it. It's such a universal type. It's pretty simple to model, and we already have the tracks in game.
I would like to insert a positive thing here. About the last 2 coasters, they come with a new feature.
No positivity.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, moving on. I had to say something.
So the new special feature for the last 2 coasters is basically a dual direction launch station.
Well, I was just going to say that with the additions of the Viper 1 and the Power Up, I hope that someday they go back to the Skyrocket 2 model, which is the torque, and they add that functionality to that coaster too.
Or maybe even add what we discussed in an earlier episode, the function to have coasters go 2 rounds, which is especially for the junior coaster a big thing, I think.
Well, with the junior coaster, I've pretty much put an extra track right through the station and made it do a second circuit now.
But it's more like a workaround than...
Yeah, than a fix.
I want to have it as a real feature.
Yeah, me too.
So, I'm intentionally skipping the next one for the big rant at the end and say the D-Gen, it's a 21st century train on traditional looping track. Track limit is 4 meters.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Bear.
Yeah, you go.
Okay, I was going to say that I specifically asked Denny during the live stream what the segment lengths for the new coasters were going to be, and he only showed off the D-Gen, which is 4 meter track length, and that made me pretty happy. So at least I'm getting one coaster that I'll enjoy.
I love the question, by the way. I was so happy that you asked.
I know their purpose of why on some of the coasters that they do the longer track segments, but for sometimes when you're building, it's just really annoying to do when you're just trying to make little transitions in the coaster track.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I kind of wish that they'd go down to 4 meters on all rides, coasters and track rides, because I know a lot of people sometimes have issues with like log flumes and stuff, trying to complete those with the long segment length. What my thought is that they should, if it just goes beyond a certain degree amount for the segment length, is that they should just shade the track yellow and just let people build it or not build it. It just warns people that, hey, it might be a little tighter than what it might in real life.
That's actually a really cool idea to have a feedback system on it. Like, they should just remove every limitation you have and just give us a feedback in builders.
Yeah, especially banking stuff.
So, just a real quick recap. It's basically an aero coaster track with the new gen VEKOMA cars, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, next one.
Oh, I was going to say one thing is that I hope either before release or sometime after that they add double spine track to the D-Gen, so that way it at least looks more VEKOMA than Aero. And I also have to say that I love the shiny metallic coating on the cars. It's really sexy.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, the Bolt, which is basically the boomerang we have already in game, but with the traditional aero cars.
Well, there's not much to say about it. They added the catch car to it and slapped it onto the track.
I mean, it basically comes with the same issues than the VEKOMA, full VEKOMA ones, and with the same benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say that if they ever allow us to switch car styles on coasters, that they allow us to use the Bolt car on the Aero corkscrew coaster, because it is really nice.
So they switched the VEKOMA cars with the Aero cars on each track. I'm just wondering why, and why did they not switch the gravity group trains that we have since the first release of the game with the RMCs to a normal wooden track?
I know That really bugs me too.
Everyone keeps complaining about it, that we finally want to have those trains on a normal wooden track, because they are classic wooden coaster trains, and they are pretty much the competitor to the other type that's in the update. And honestly, that would have been an easy job, and just have another coaster type.
Due to the fact that we are pretty long recording right now, I make it quick. The next one is another, which is in brackets, bad GCI. Bear, real quick in 2 sentences, what's wrong about the GCI?
Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that in 2 sentences. I'm not gonna say it's bad and it's not wrong. It's they added a GCI, which is amazing. But they kept the wooden tracks to what is the standard, and the cars out of scale and weirdly morphed to, like, it's too stretched out and stuff. Like, it has some issues, and I guess I don't know if the devs want to hear anything about it. They could, I guess, hit me up, because this is really getting long. And
or just listen to an upcoming episode of Only Coasters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like 2.5 hours coaster rant again. So, last topic, the big thing. They announced the update with fireworks. Okay, you're right, mate. Okay. Fireworks. It's 30 plus fireworks that are all colorable, confirmed that you can rotate the launch things for them into 3 axes. So yes, you can shoot your visitors with it. With fireworks comes a sequencer, which is 100 triggers each, but you can line them up, so basically go by infinity, and you will have a special effects tab in the management segment.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, it's gonna make triggering stuff a hell of a lot easier. Insert obligatory triggering joke here.
Hate me, but like, I don't see the firework update as something too special. I don't know. I've never really liked the firework aspect. Honestly, I've never really tried it in RST3. Maybe it's something I really like, but I've never tried it out. I'm just wondering if we can use the sequencer for anything. Like,
yes,
use it for lights as well.
Yeah.
Yes, you can trigger every triggerable object with the sequencer, like animatronics and everything.
And there are no lasers,
right? I believe there are lasers.
There are lasers, yeah. They're small.
Well, the lasers we already have in
like,
game.
wasn't there a projector or something?
No,
laser projector.
Projector's not an actual thing. It's just a light.
That's a bummer. Because, I mean, they could have just added some lasers and also theoretically added as a light show.
Bigger lasers! We've already got little lasers.
Yeah, moving lasers.
Well, I think they totally ignored the light show aspect of it and the water show aspect of it. But
I mean, we've got floodlights.
Yeah, but floodlights are no light show, no laser, no water show.
Valid, but
I think fireworks is just the first step.
I wish that
I
don't think this is an option on it, but I kind of wish that you could have them trigger at time of day. So you could have your sequencer auto run at time of day.
I thought they said that you could do that.
Okay, you can?
Yeah, I believe.
Okay.
And that you can also set the trigger sequence up to be triggered by coasters and everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure they said you can make an infinitive loop, so it's running all the time.
I don't know why you'd want that, but okay.
I don't know, man. So I guess we are through. Real quick recap, again, what you guys think of the update. Is it a big update? Is it more like a smaller thing?
I think it's going to be like every other update. Call me cynical, but I think it'll come out. People will really like it. We'll all be really happy. And then it'll just be part of the game in a couple weeks. There will be like 2 days where a lot of really cool things come out. Sorry.
Bear?
I mean, if I like fireworks, I haven't decided yet, but if I like fireworks, I think the update is alright. And if they fix some issues with the GCI cars, at least, they don't have to mess around with the track. I can custom support. I'm alright with that. But if they fix some stuff on the cars, I think that's a really good update.
Commander?
I think billboards are going to be a huge game changer. And like I said, or like you said, that fireworks, I think, are just going to be like, they're going to feel like a part of the game in a couple of weeks.
I agree with Commander. I think billboards is a big thing. Every other point of the update is nice to have. And thanks for that, Frontier. But yeah, that's about it. About
it? You mean like 57 minutes of recording it?
Exactly. That was your ruin, my segue, some sort of. And that's about it for this episode.
I did it again. End the show.
Oh, so were you ever going to do the beer episode?
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will talk about that later. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening to this episode. As usual, we introduce ourselves at the end. I'm AdfoTV. You can find my stuff on YouTube and can reach out to me on Twitter also. I will be back streaming in a while on Twitch. And don't look up for me on Reddit before Bear screams it again.
What?
Blind, please.
I'm exhausted. I'm on 3 hours of sleep, so if I sounded loopy, I'm sorry. Twitch.tv/BlindIRL. I stream a lot of management games. A lot of Planet Coaster happens over there as well as other stuff.
And he also hosts a show with CleaveTV, which is now Schematics presents the unofficial Planet Coaster Spotlight.
The name that gets ever longer. Planet Coaster Spotlight. Yeah, that. So that's me.
Commander.
I'm CommanderRealwar. You can find my stuff on the workshop and on the forums and on soon, hopefully, Shy Guys World.
All right, so I'm Freethebear. You can find my stuff on YouTube.
So thanks, guys, for listening again. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or whatever it is, just write it down in the comment section down below. And you have a... No, wait. And fuck it. Bye.
Adfo's gonna lose SSD.
What?
Won't lose SSD.
Oh, that thing.
Anyway, thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.